And I've got some breaking news for you. A new poll has for the first time put Reform UK ahead of both the Labour Party and the Conservatives. I'm delighted to say we can now speak with the leader of Reform UK, Nigel Farage. Nigel Farage, welcome to the show. So, a breakthrough moment for the first time ever. You're in pole position. How does it feel?
Yeah, very good indeed, and well timed. I've got a big event here in Clacton this evening, so I hope this news will go down well. Do you know what? All the momentum in British politics is with reform. Why? I think it's because we're optimistic. We believe that with the right leadership, this country can be turned around. I also think many of our potential voters are seeing what's happening in America, where woke is out of the window, DEI people are being suspended, and the economic optimism in America has much to do with the leadership. So, yeah, it's about being optimistic. It's about having real plans. It's about being unafraid to stand up and say things that many in Westminster find awkward and difficult, but out in the country are right at the heart of the debate families, communities are having.
Okay, Mr. Farage, I'm joined by Chris Hope in the studio. He'd like to fire a question at you.
Nigel Farage, I do my podcast called Chopper's Political Podcast. You've been on before, you know about it. Lord Frost, David Frost, has said to us today he thinks there needs to be a coming together in some way of Reform and the Tory party. An arrangement maybe, if you're both level pegging at the election, or maybe one of you merges the other one into it. I mean, look at the numbers there. You get 190 MPs of election tomorrow. Conservatives 141. So you'll be anyway forming a government with Reform, with the Tory party if this comes to pass. Why not start the talks now?
So lots of speculation about, where is Reform support coming from? Is it coming from the Conservatives? Is it coming from Labour? Well, overall, there's more coming to us from Labour in the red wall than the Conservatives. But here's the really important point, Chris. The really important point. The reason we're in the lead is 20% of our vote is coming from people who did not vote for anybody in the last general election. And that tells you a lot. It tells you about the level of disenchantment there is with, frankly, the Uniparty. There isn't much to choose on the really big issues between the Conservatives' record in government and what Labour are doing now. I mean, mark you, Labour are even more incompetent, if you can believe that. So what we're getting here is something completely fresh and brand new happening in politics.
Hi, everyone. The so-called Labour government under Keir Starmer is falling apart, and while the disintegration might seem comical, the real tragedy lies in the consequences for ordinary people. Worse still, this chaos seems to come at a time when the far right is surging across the country. So what's the latest disaster? Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor, has watered down Labour's plans for tax non-doms. Those wealthy individuals who live in the UK but dodge full taxation by registering abroad, a bit like Rishi Sunak's wife. This is one of Labour's only meaningful policies to get the rich to contribute more, which seems pretty fucking obvious and fair given the state of the country. So why the backtrack? Intense lobbying by the various non-doms these taxes would target seems very fucking likely. And Reeves had the full audacity to justify it at the World Economic Forum in Davos, saying that Labour had really been listening to the concerns of the non-dom community. Really? Are non-doms now a protected minority? It's outrageous that the rich get to get the government's ear, whilst pensioners, some of whom can't even afford to turn their own fucking heating on, are ignored. Winter fuel payments have been slashed for many pensioners, including some of the poorest. But it doesn't stop there. Do you remember when Starmer opposed the Heathrow expansion and championed the fight against climate change? Fast forward to now, and Reeves is signalling that Heathrow's back on the fucking table. Because growth is the #1 mission. The Labour collapse isn't just a tragedy, it's a warning. When the party drifts aimlessly, Farage's Reform Party is gaining ground, fueled by disillusionment and anger. If we don't push for a real alternative, one that puts wealth and power into the hands of the many, not the few, this mess could pave the way for Farage in Downing Street. And mark my words, I'd be very surprised if it isn't at least a hung parliament next election. But let me know what you think in the comments. I've been Jake from Just Jake. As always, subscribe to the channel, follow my Facebook page if you really give a shit, and I'll see you next time. You actually made it to the end of the video. If you would like to subscribe to the channel, which, why haven't you already, is somewhere over there. And also, If you want to watch more videos, also check out over there. I've been Jake from Just Jake. See you later.